Welcome to another segment with Blueprints Unsealed. Today we'll be looking at top strange UFO sightings and weather phenomenon. Reported UFO sightings and actual weather phenomenon has been a point of contention for years, ranging from eyewitness accounts to video recordings. Today we will focus on some of the most mystifying events that have been reported in the last 2 decades. Also, we will look at some of the best debunked mysteries scientists and experts believe may have been behind some of the more trivial sightings. We'll start off with number 1, Chicago O'Hare sighting. Back in 2006, over a dozen eyewitnesses reported seeing an unusual spacecraft hovering above the Chicago O'Hare International Airport over the United Terminal. The object was described as metallic with gray color and had a disc-shaped design. The object appeared to hover over the airport for approximately 5 minutes. At that point, the object shot up and went through the clouds at a high velocity, leaving a clear blue hole in the cloud layer. The hole reportedly seemed to close itself shortly afterward. What makes this case particularly interesting is the fact that the eyewitnesses included pilots, airline management, and mechanics. The credentials of these eyewitnesses is important because it gives a certain level of credibility that what is being observed is not consistent with what most airplanes' design would be, and raises the prospect that what they are witnesses is something truly unusual. When reporters got wind of the sightings, they attempted to get additional information from both the Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA for short, and United Airlines. However, both parties denied that the event took place. Reporters soon discovered that there were recorded phone conversations between the United Airlines supervisor and the FAA that involved a direct discussion involving the incident that took place. The FAA soon changed its position and contributed the event to a weather phenomenon known as hole punch cloud, but declined to investigate any further. Sightings that since the object failed to show itself on radar, it most likely was due to the unusual weather phenomenon. Critics have been very skeptical of the FAA refusal to investigate the event any further, stating that it contradicts the agency's mandate to investigate possible security breaches at American airports. Next, we're going to look at Oumuamua, officially known as the first interstellar object detected passing through the solar system. The object was spotted in October of 2017 by Canadian physicist and astronomer Robert Work. Best estimates place the observation around 40 days after it passed its closest point to the sun. At that point, the object was already heading away from the sun. The name Oumuamua is a Hawaiian word that means scout, a name that is fitting given its origin. Virtually all scientists agree that Oumuamua is most likely an interstellar object. However, some scientists have theorized that the object may in fact be an alien technology. This theory stems from the observation that the object appears to be accelerated as if something was pushing on it, and this acceleration cannot be easily explained using natural laws of physics. Harvard University astrophysicist Avi Loeb believes that the object was propelled by an alien machine, such as a light cell that will accelerate as it's pushed by the solar radiation. He believes this mainly because when we observe a accelerating object in space, we will also observe that the object will burn off some of its mass, which we do not see in the case of Oumuamua. However, there's consensus within the scientific community that the acceleration of Oumuamua is likely due to a natural phenomena of the invisible burning. The leading explanation is that solid hydrogen was blasting invisibly off the interstellar object's surface and causing it to speed up. The flaw in this argument, disputed by both Loeb and astrophysicist D.M. Hung, is that the hydrogen hypothesis could not work in the real world. Nothing conclusive can be absolutely confirmed regarding the true nature of Oumuamua. After all, it's the first of its kind we ever got to observe. But perhaps in the future we can send a rocket to catch up to the object, and then we can know for sure. Or we can wait to see if there's another one that crosses our path, and we can use satellites and advanced equipment to make better observations. Until then, we can only guess. Next on our list is strange sighting over Aegean Sea. Sometime in 2018, passengers on a commercial flight recorded video footage of an unidentified flying phenomenon while flying over the Aegean Sea. The video shows a large, dark smoke object roughly pointed at the 12 o'clock position. It then makes a smooth transition upward to the 12 o'clock position with gradual movement to the 10 o'clock position. It then levels itself with the horizon and jet streams across the sky, heading in the opposite direction of the passenger jet. The movement of this object is not consistent with any known aircraft maneuvers, and no one has come forward with a plausible explanation of what this object can be. One idea that's populated is that perhaps the movement of the object can simply be a trick of perception, and that the object only appears to be moving, but in fact, the plane that is moving. However, after carefully watching the footage, the horizon doesn't appear to change, which may indicate that the plane is traveling on a fixed path. The Aegean Sea is located at the northeastern part of the Mediterranean Sea, and it lies between Greece and Turkey. The geography is important here because the Aegean Sea does have both active and non-active volcanoes, and the images of the object looks very similar to black ashes that erupts from a volcano. However, the projection and apparent flight movement is not consistent with an eruption. No updates on what this object can be is currently available. Next up is the blue light UFO in Hawaii. In early 2021, multiple witnesses have reported seeing strange glowing blue blob-like objects streak across the sky in Oahu, Hawaii. The object is described as being as long as a telephone pole. One witness recalled following the object for over 3 miles before watching the object descend into the ocean. There's also reports stating that a second set of much smaller white lights followed the first object, but rather than descend into the ocean, it disappeared over the mountains. The FAA confirmed that there were no aircraft incidents reported at the time of the sightings. Although there is no official explanation, some leading theories can be considered. Some possibilities to consider includes an LED kite, a hand glider, or ball lightning, but the jury is out for now. In conclusion, many scientists and experts contend that there are numerous strange objects that are observed and recorded that cannot be easily explained. Or worst case scenario, they admit that they have no idea what is going on. However, many experts believe that most of the sightings and reports can actually be explained with a certain degree of certainty. The number one trait consistent with most observers when it comes to reporting UFO activity is simply they are not familiar with the sky, especially at night. For example, the planet Venus is the number one mistaken object reported as a UFO. This is simply because the planet is very close to the Earth. So when the planet is present in the night sky, it is usually very bright and it hangs close to the horizon. Other objects that may appear unusual in the night sky include launching rockets and missiles, meteor showers, drones, and re-entry of rocket boosters into Earth's atmosphere. Thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe.